Welcome back, Assalamu alaikum. This is the final segment of Let's Talk this Saturday morning. I do hope you're enjoying the show with us. And we do want you to call in. We have 3 prizes to give away. A lovely sweet hamper from Broadway Sweets and 2 hampers from Amka. It's Amla oil hampers. So you want your hair to be lustrous, luscious and beautiful? Well, call in with a comment or a question and you can stand in line to win one of those hampers. Next up, we're going to be talking to Razia Mohamed. She is a life coach, and we're going to talk about how going to a life coach can possibly change your life. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure having you here. Razia, I've always been under the impression that life coaches are only used for athletes if you want to get maximum performance. So if you're in the sporting arena, a life coach works for you best and that's it.
Right.
What, am I wrong in thinking that?
Well, I would say that like how your sporting arena, you need motivation, you need empowerment, you need to be able to get from A to B in a productive and progressive way. You would apply those same principles to your own life as well.
Okay, before we go into life coaching, how it can enhance you as a person, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you, I was pleasantly surprised when I heard that my guest is a Muslim female talking to us about life coaching, and I thought, wow, that's really something. How did you get into life coaching?
I'm in this kind of business for the past 16 years now. So I've always been in it on a psychology level. Now, on a psychology level, you're not allowed to advise, you're not allowed to give your opinion. So all you're allowed to say is, how does it make you feel?
To listen.
And then you direct your client, yes, to listen.
Yes.
And the one day I went to a Cecil function, and this guy was so energetic, he was all over the place, and I had to speak to him. And that's when he told me that he's a life coach. So I researched all of those things about 8 years ago, and I decided this is what I want to be. So a life coach is someone where you sit across from them and they direct you in a way that they think is productive for you. So I would direct you in ways that will empower you and motivate you on a level and a point where you would actually be the change that you would like to see in your world.
Okay, so let's look at this a little differently. Mm-hmm. Let's assume I'm just an ordinary stay-at-home mom and housewife. My life's not really going anywhere. I'm possibly in an abusive relationship as well. How would life coaching change my circumstances, change me as a woman, as opposed to going to a psychologist, for example, or a counselor to talk about my problems?
Okay, I use a process called NLP, which is called Neuro-Linguistic Programming. So that's just a fancy term for me working with your subconscious mind in order to sift out the beliefs that limit your growth. So that is what I would do. I would say the ordinary housewife that has no job, which in my opinion is a very, very progressive person, because it's a job that is not recognized, but it's supposed to be very fruitful in society, because you are actually shaping human beings, future human beings. Mm-hmm. So I would take her and I would basically do the NLP processes. It's a 6-step session, and that is what I would do, is I would bring her to a point where she will start valuing herself, she will start loving herself, she will start honoring herself. There is nothing...
And I guess believing in herself,
yes,
most importantly.
There is nothing that you can do better for yourself than believing in yourself, and most of all, respecting yourself. Because what you perceive on the inside is what you project on the outside. So if you want respect, if you want love, if you want honor, you need to feel that within yourself. And this is what I do to bring about that changes.
Let's take that same scenario, the housewife, And she starts going for life coaching. She goes for 6 sessions, whatever, and she starts changing as a person. What are the people around her going to be seeing, and are they going to accept her? But before you respond to that, let's take our caller. Assalamu alaikum to you and welcome. Caller, are you there? Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. I'm calling to just ask a question on the television. I want to know how it works with the children.
Are you talking about too much TV for children? Is that your question?
Let's talk, yes.
All right. You're wanting to know if too much TV is bad for children. Is that the question?
No. How does it work with the children? How does she psychologically...
Okay. All right, fine. We've got that. Thank you. Will you please leave your name with the producer and listen to the response on air?
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum for your call.
Okay, life coaching works very well with children. Any child under 10 years old, I will do a process called play therapy.
Okay.
And through play, we actually ascertain what is going on within the child's mind and then bring about the changes. If you are 10 years and older, then you are able to sit and listen, and I would listen to you and give you the responses and the opinions that I feel that you should go into. And I have a load of teenage clients as well, where they stuck in this little rut, or they plagued by bullying, by cyberbullying, by all of those processes that are going on in society today, abuse as well. And I would take that client and I would bring about the change that only you can do in your world, because you cannot change your world, you cannot change anyone around you, but you can change yourself, and that would bring about the changes in your world.
So if you change your behaviors and how you respond to people, they're going to start changing around you.
They are going to change around you. And to your question earlier, before the caller called in, I wouldn't take a client, like you say, the housewife, and make her into someone that is aggressive. There's a very fine line between being passive, assertive, and aggressive. And the balanced way to be is to be assertive. So it's to know when to go into an argument, when to retreat from an argument, what to leave, how to value yourself in order to bring out the positive responses within your world, within the people that engage with you.
So the people around you are not going to resist this change that they see in you through life coaching?
They will not resist the change, because the change will be positive. So hence, as I say, it will be assertive as opposed to being aggressive.
Just going back to the issue around children, interestingly enough, the first segment of the show this morning was with a educational psychologist, and we spoke about ADD and ADHD. Would you be able to help a child like that through life coaching if the child has got attention problems?
Yes. No one gets up in the morning and they decide to have a condition. It's basically a series of processes that come about to bring about those changes. With ADD, with ADHD, it's normally a chemical process, a chemical imbalance, or maybe the child is just very bright and one thought overtakes the other. So what we do with NLP is we slow down the thought processes. So the person is then, and it happens with adults as well, because then the person is able to slow down, complete one thought, and then go on to the other thought.
You spoke about 6 sessions. Is it possible to have 2 different scenarios? The one being that within 3 sessions, a client would have mastered the technique, or after 6 sessions, another client will still not have grasped the technique. So does that mean that you stop with client number 1 and continue with client number 2? How does it work?
Well, the 6 session process is normally very structured. So in each session, I would know exactly what I need to do with the client, and I would tailor the sessions according to the client's individual needs. So in your first session, when I speak to you by your body language, by your image perception, by what you don't say, by what you tell me, I already know what I need to do in order to get you to that productivity. And very rarely will a client tell me that, in fact, it's never happened where they say, okay, 3 sessions and then we're done. So it always goes on. And very often, in the way that you would maintain your hair or your skin or go to the gym for your body, you would maintain your mind as well. So I would get a call 2 months later or 3 months later, and that would a client would tell me, I need your help again. And then I would, because the curveballs of life always happen. Life always throws you the lemon, and basically what I teach you is to make lemonade out of that lemon.
Okay, so the skills you teach, obviously the client will have at their disposal for life.
Yes.
But I presume they'd have to practice on it all the time.
Definitely.
Can you give us examples of one skill, for example, that you'd ask a person to keep focusing on and how to play it out?
Okay, somebody, for example, that is plagued with anxiety, I will teach you through NLP breathing exercises how to bring your creator into your thoughts so that your thought processes slow down and then you're not plagued by stress. We do certain exercises that will teach you how to center yourself. So it's very much holistically based. Although NLP is scientifically based, but my approach takes science and holistic behavior and merges it together. So the result of that is surrendering to the will of your creator, letting him take over, and realizing that all of this is so temporary. Stress as well, like how they say, and this too shall pass. Yes. That is my philosophy.
Okay, and this works for 10-year-olds and above?
Most definitely.
All right. How about people that are so set in their ways? Is it going to you take a 40, 50, 60-year-old?
Yes.
How, would you have to work harder and longer with them to start? I should imagine it's about kind of breaking old habits and forming new habits.
Yes.
Does it take lots of hard work to do all of that?
Basically, what I would do in the very first session is I would ascertain by, like I say, your non-verbal behavior, what it is that you would need. So I would go into that specific need that I think is lacking or that void that you have, and I would verbalize it. So automatically that person that is dogmatic in their behavior will be like, okay, this woman knows what she's talking about because she's zoning in on my void, on my weakness, on what is limiting me from further growth. And I don't believe that there is an age limit to learning. There's never an age limit to learning. And as our Prophet ﷺ said, seek knowledge, seek more knowledge. Knowledge is power.
I'm talking to Razia Mohamed. She is a life coach. We're talking about how you can change your life through life coaching to get the best results for yourself. We will continue the discussion right after the ad break, inshallah. Welcome back to the last 15 minutes of the show this morning. Let's talk with me, Julie Ali. I do hope you've enjoyed what we've had for you so far on the show. Right now we are talking to our life coach, and if you have any questions or comments, we're happy to take those. Now we've already reserved two giveaways for the 2 callers that had called in earlier. We have one more giveaway, so if you'd like to qualify, or if you just want to call in and make some comments or suggestions, we're happy to take your calls. Still to come in the show, we're going to talk to our guest, our lovely guest here. We're going to talk about her book and what exactly is life coaching, how can it enhance your life. We're going to hear about that in a minute or two. Let's take our caller first. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show. Caller, you're on air, please go ahead. Hello.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Welcome to the show.
Walaikum salam.
Who am I speaking to?
Mohammed Yusuf.
Mohammed Yusuf, what are your thoughts this morning? Would you like to say something?
Do you work with children who are drug addicts, and is there an institute that you guys by any chance work with directly?
Brilliant question. Thank you so much for asking that question. We're going to cross over to our guest and let's hear her response. Shukran very much indeed. Leave your details with our producer. We're going to send you one of these hampers in the course of the week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum to you. Great question. I think something that I didn't even think about, and it's a huge problem in our community.
I am a certified substance abuse counselor as well. And then I use life coaching techniques. So I work with people like Anwar Jiva, and then I have worked with Nishtara before. And together with life coaching techniques, NLP techniques, we actually take the person we go to the grassroots of why they are taking the drug. Because like I said previously, no one gets up in the morning and decides, I want to be a drug addict, I want to be an alcoholic, I want to engage in all the vices that are out there right now. There's a series of processes that force you to take whatever it is that you choose to take. So what I
made you do it, it's your choice, but there is obviously something going wrong in your life for you to resort to perhaps wife beating or drug addiction or alcoholism or something to that effect.
And we are very much products of our childhood.
Sadly.
We are products of our childhood, each and every one of us. So what we do is with NLP, the first thing that I would do is to go back into your childhood. And when you go back into your childhood, you will actually discover how your subconscious mind controls you, and how it is that your subconscious mind turns out the same processes over and over again. For example, the abused will become the abuser or go on to become further abused, because it's your sense of normal. So yes, to the caller, I do NLP techniques with substance abusers, and alhamdulillah, it's been very productive.
And you've had success stories from there?
Yes.
How many sessions would you actually have with a person suffering from an addiction, whatever it might be?
Well, the sessions would vary because the problems are not the same. So very often the person will decide that they want to see me once a week, until what I do is wean them off me, in the sense that here they find a non-judgmental adult, someone that's not judging me, someone that's not telling me what to do, someone that's listening to me. And that can become addictive as well, because they have addictive personalities. So what I do is I use NLP. I help you to get to the root of the problem, and then with that, what we do is I wean you off me, and I show you how to become interactive, to integrate into society, and to be a productive individual.
And it's important to break that attachment, because you become a crutch to them, and you don't want that to happen.
You don't want the crutch to be formed in another way.
You want to teach them to become independent, strong human beings, inshallah. And you are saying to us this morning that you can overcome your addiction, whatever it might be, with the right mindset and with lots and lots of dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything and everything is possible.
With that in mind as well, I believe that the substance abuser's family needs counseling as well, because now we're going to turn this person around. We're going to make them into someone that is thinking differently. So they are going to go back home and be treated in the same way that they have been treated previously, and that will be counterproductive to the therapy. So I suggest that the family or whomever that the client is living with needs the counseling, family therapy as well.
Very important.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to come back to coaching. What else it can do for you and what life coaching is not recommended for. But I see you have an interesting looking booklet
Yes.
on your lap. Tell us about it. Won't you show it up to the camera, please?
Okay, I have written a book and it's called See the Change. So basically it's self-explanatory in the sense that it's motivation on another level. It's a small book, yet it's a wealth of information. I suggest that each and every one of you get one of these books. And once you read it, there's a whole lot of quotes, there's a whole lot of stories in there. There's my introduction as well. And with this year, you are guaranteed to want to come to me, and you are guaranteed to want to be the change that you would like to see in your world.
Inshallah. And where can one get hold of this book?
You would contact me, and I can either post it to you or I can give it to you physically if you are close enough as well.
Okay, great. Now, I know that life coaching has worked wonders for sports people. What and when would you not recommend life coaching?
When would I not recommend life coaching? There isn't an instance where I wouldn't recommend life coaching. Because I deal with clients on a divorce level. I deal with single parents. I deal with marital issues and discord. I deal with premarital counseling as well. Then we go to substance abuse. I have a few athletes that come to me as well for more further motivation. People that are in the limelight as well. It can be mentally and emotionally draining to your psyche to always have to put up that front and that face. So I deal with them as well.
Yes.
So I would not, I wouldn't be able to pinpoint an instance or a person that wouldn't be productive and susceptible to life coaching and just to soar to greatness. Basically, we are here, we are put here as a test, but we are also here to see what we do with our lives. We are here to give dawah work. We are here to just produce and to serve humanity.
Alhamdulillah. Now, I know that it works excellently with sports people.
Yes.
And having said that, then, why shouldn't it work in other areas? And I know corporate, world leaders, corporate heads, etc.
Yes.
Also, lots of them go for life coaching to give them that extra edge, to give them the confidence to
Yes.
go out there and conquer their companies and conquer the world.
So
What is the trick?
I do that on a corporate level as
Okay.
well. I do team building and I do one-on-one sessions within the HR departments of companies as well. And what is the edge? The edge,
Yes.
the edge is that there's no secret to life. The secret is within you. And what I do is just unleash that natural potential that you have within you. I read a book once that said this guy went all over the world. He went to the ashrams and the Buddhist temples and the mosques and all over to seek himself, to seek the secret. And when he came to the end of his destination, an old lady that he interacted with told him that the secret is here
Within you.
You need not surf the world. You need not go anywhere. You need to look within you, because wherever you go, you take your mind with you.
True. Okay, then in closing, when we talk about life coaching, we talk about, it's really about changing your beliefs, changing your attitudes. Would you say that one has to, and it's not always possible, but is it really about always believing and putting the power of positivity in any and every situation and looking at the world through rose-tinted glasses? I'm not sure. Do you think that this whole notion around the power of positivity can and will and should move mountains, very especially in the case of our last caller talking about, can this work for drug addicts?
Yes.
So how do you get people like that to subscribe to the power of positivity? Can they be positive when the grips of a very deep and a dark addiction?
Well, I would say it's not about putting your rose-tinted glasses on. It's about taking your rose-tinted glasses off. And basically, in my master coaching, what I've learned is that you surrender to the will of Allah. You surrender to the will of God and you let Him take over. He is here to help you. He is here to be your friend. So basically, when you surrender, that is when the positivity of everything comes in. So when you look at a situation, it's not about looking at the glass half full or half empty. It's about being happy that there is a glass. Because I would say that the sky is not the limit. It's actually your thoughts that are your limit. So I don't give you an idealistic, wishy-washy way of looking at life. It's basically looking at life realistically, making peace with your past and living in the moment.
Alhamdulillah. And that's where we're going to end the show. Let's do our thoughts for the day. We'll wrap up with Razia Mohamed and wrap up for the day, inshallah. So on to our thought for the day. We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians. The famous words of Nelson Mandela brings us to the end of our show this morning. Shukran to you, Razia Mohamed. To all our callers this morning, we had 3 callers and all 3 of you have qualified for our lovely hampers, 2 with compliments from AMCA and 1 with the compliments of Broadway Sweets. Thank you so much for letting us into your heart and your home this morning. Inshallah, till next Wednesday at the same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ya hala, 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 حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا، حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا، يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا، يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا.